Hello all, you catch me on Utting Avenue in the Anfield district of Liverpool. Lovely, thriving little community by the looks of things. I don't come here that often. We have a small supermarket, a chippy, a florist, kebabs and burgers, newsagents, another chippy, gift cards and gift shop, dog grooming salon, chauffeurs, tanning studio, beauty salon, and that special little building, which I will tell you about more in a minute. But I said before, a thriving community. That there is a school, and we have a church, homes and businesses in the same area, dual carriageway, very busy. And you'll notice there's an awful lot of cars parked around here, and there's a reason for that. Because just there, through those trees, is Anfield Stadium. So it must be match day for either Liverpool or Everton. But I'm not here for that. I am here. I'm going to tell you all about the changes that this little building has been through, and a special little story involving my dad. So I'm going to walk it over now. Push button, wait for signal. Walk across the road because it's safer, because I'm sure people speed up when they see you walking across the road. This one hasn't got beeps on it. Tree-lined avenues. All the buses coming in for the match. Can't see whether they're red or blue. Not particularly interested. So here we have the side view of the Ritz Cinema. The part there with the shutters and the woods that you can see, that's all extra. That was added years later. I'll take you round to the front. There we go. The front entrance of the Ritz Cinema. So let's start at the beginning. The Ritz Cinema was built in 1929. You can tell that by the Art Deco designing there. And it was the era of the silent movies. Sorry, those Amazon vans just pulled up right behind me. Interestingly, this was one of the last to be built for the silent film era. And it boasted a magnificent interior with a stunning Egyptian-style murals adorned the walls with sumptuous, you can tell I've read this off a website, can't you? With sumptuous blue curtains and red velvet stadium seating on a raked floor, which possibly look like these pictures I'm going to pop in here. The first one's an AI picture, and the second one is one from somewhere in America, similar era. While initially popular, the Ritz faced challenges of the bigger cinemas. Matinee screenings eventually ceased in the 50s, but with CinemaScope arriving on the scene, this boosted the Ritz for a while, because it was one of the independents, one of the smaller independent picture houses that installed CinemaScope quite early on, and it enabled the Ritz to show The Robe with Richard Burton, Gene Simmons and Victor Mature. On a side note, Victor Mature was my mum's crush. She did like him. And that was from the January of 1955, when the CinemaScope was installed. It perked up a bit, but it couldn't save it. So for 5 years it was on the go. But again, the bigger picture houses, more modern facilities, and yeah, the Ritz was the first cinema in Anfield to close. And the final curtain call for this lovely little place was The Raid. Get across the road so that you get a better view of how big it is. I'll put it on, it's on wide. Yeah, the final curtain was the Ritz double bill with The Raid, starring Anne Bancroft, Lee Marvin and Richard Boone, and Bomber's Moon, starring George Montgomery. And the little story about my dad was he was a projectionist, and they have 2 reels of film going. But they have the first half of the film, and then they have to keep watching the film, and there's a mark on the screen that shows you when you've got to change the reel. And as he reached behind him, instead of grabbing the lever, his fingers went through the slot where the lever runs up and down, and he shocked himself. I went flying across the room, but being the ever professional, he managed to get up in time to actually change the reel on time, so nobody knew any of the difference. I'll pop a picture in here of what it looked like when it was a cinema. And for many years, the Ritz was in disrepair. I don't know if it was completely gutted or whatever. I don't know, I wasn't here. But Tasker's took it over. First of all, it was Tasker's DIY. And then it was Tasker's Super Sports. And then it went on to be Tasker's Fishing and Angling. And it was the fishing and angling for quite some time. But while the Ritz Cinema may no longer grace the city, its legacy remains, because they've kept it as well as they could do. The outside fascia and all that, they've done a good job of keeping all that sort of thing. Now in the hands of developers who are revitalising the old into new, and are building apartments on the upper floors and a cafe, bistro or something where the auditorium was. And I will take you in there now.
Yeah, it would have had something to do with it.
Yeah, that's what I say, that'll be the
toilets and everything here. This would have been all, yeah. What you just showed me in that picture.
I'm trying to remember if it said it had a cellar on the, but it would have done, wouldn't it?
Yeah, this would be what you just been talking about.
So we think this might have been the
That's the main entrance.
the drinks, refreshments, ice lollies. I don't know if they had ice lollies back. Yeah, they had ice lollies back in 1929. But we think this would be the concessions, the sweets, the drinks, the refreshments. That'll be the cellars down to probably the generators and things like that, the electric rooms. And that's where well, my dad doesn't remember there being stalls on the sides of the building, of the cinema auditorium itself, but a lot of them did. So that would have been the stairs up to there. There isn't a set of stairs on the other side, but that's the archway. My dad would have walked up there to the projection room, following my dad's footsteps. He would be so proud. I've got a builder that's trying to get in on my camera. And this was the manager's office. Probably the staff room maybe, where they got themselves a brew or something. But you can see the slope of the building, of the ceiling. And that would go down. And this would be the auditorium, with obviously a sloped floor, and it would have red plush velvet seats with Egyptian style decorations on the wall. It had blue curtains, so you've got blues, you've got the reds, and you've got different tones of clay colour, sand colours on the big panels in between each of them. And you can see there where the either stairs were for the top parts. So, and then further down here, as I've said before, this has all been levelled because round about here would have been a orchestra pit, because it was silent movies. This would have had an orchestra pit so it could play music to go with the scene that's on. Big silver screen. And off to the side, it used to do variety shows as well. So they'd have changing rooms off to the side, which is what I think that is, possibly. I'm not going to go over there because it's dark and there's stuff over there. But I am absolutely made up that this gentleman let me in, to let me in and let me have a little look of where my dad worked, oh so long ago. And I am going to leave you with that. So please subscribe if you like this one, and share it around. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. So the gents just let me upstairs to have a look at where my dad's projector room would have been, and it's now a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, which views down onto the streets, as you can see there. And this is the kitchenette living area, which is going to be all furnished. I say down onto the street there, as you can see. But that's where, that wall there would not have been there, and that's where the projector would have projected out of. Let's think of the word. If we have a look at the corridor, you can just see a slight slant in the corridor going down. Don't know if you can catch that on camera. No, you can't. It is very, very slight. But all this has been built when it was the Taskers. The second floor, that is, because it would have been the full height of the building to allow the projector to project down onto the street, onto the screen. So,